Hello and welcome back to the Full 10 Yards Betting Podcast as we're here to talk about Week 15 in the NFL season as the playoffs unfortunately start to get closer and closer. The regular season is on its way out. I am Liam, your host, as always. I'm joined by, I was going to say a man that will also be in the playoffs, but we're not sure about his team quite yet. That is Adam, aka Mr. Touchdown Tips. How you doing, mate? After a week off of the pod because of me. How are you doing?
Yeah, scheduling conflicts. It's obviously getting towards Christmas, so things get a bit busy and we have to work around it. But good to be here this week. We'll see what we do next week. Obviously, it'll be even closer to Christmas by then. But no, I'm doing good. Yeah, it's as you say, getting to crunch time. You gleefully told me that the Bengals have a 2% chance at the moment, and if they win this weekend, which they stood as 5-point favourites, it'll be up to 4%. So yeah, they're still barely clinging on, and then they've got a game against the Broncos in a week or two, which will be the real be all or end all. I mean, realistically they're out, but there's still technically a hope. So yeah, we're still trying.
Feels like the Chargers are probably the team that's easier to catch, but the Broncos you've got the game against, so we'll see. But yeah, I can gleefully tell you if you lose this week, it's 0.5% chance. So I don't know how you feel about that, but I can
Still alive.
I can tell you that. Yeah, like I said earlier, we didn't record last week, and normally we have a better record when we don't record, ironically. But we didn't quite last week. We were 6-12. I went 3 or 4 though, so I should probably not be on this podcast if you want good picks. But there we go. Unfortunately, my team was the only one that let me down. And then Adam, you went 2 of 4, and I think Tim was 1 of 4. So it was a bad week for Tim last week. But yeah, 6-12. We probably need to do a bit better than 6-12, I think, today if we want to win people some money. I would say so. Yeah, we shall see. Cool. We're going to do the usual format. So game of the week, then go on to spread of the week for the rest of the games, total of the week, and then end with some touchdown scorers and mention some props if there are any. In terms of game of the week, it is kind of one choice. This is probably the easiest game of the week we've had in a while. Bills at Lions. Lions are favored at home by 2.5 points, which basically kind of means if it's the Super Bowl, it's a pick 'em with home field advantage at the moment. And then 53.5 is the points total, which I think also was the biggest total of the week, which comes to no surprise with two probably offense first teams. Before we go through bets and everything, mate, how are you feeling in general about this game? Obviously, I have something riding on it with the 1 seed. One of my best friends is an Eagles fan, so he has something riding on it for the NFC 1 seed. But how are you feeling as a neutral, getting ready to watch this game?
Yeah, I kind of tongue-in-cheek in our group put that it's the best team from each conference, but I do think that. I don't. I know that seems like a dig against the Chiefs, but I do think it is. Like the Bills obviously beat the Chiefs in the game that they played each other in, but they do have the ability to slip up as well, whereas the Chiefs seem a little bit more consistent. The Lions have been dominating the NFC, and even with a host of defensive injuries, they still came through the other week. They are getting quite a few of them back this week, or should be, which will make a big difference. But yeah, this should be a very fun game. I think it's the highest total of the year. I don't remember anything this high before. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see where we go on it. It just not started well this week because I thought yesterday would be a bit of a score fest, and it was, I believe, the first game all year without any touchdowns at all. So yeah, fingers crossed the weekend will be better than the 49ers and Rams last night.
Yeah, 12-6. 100% glad after a busy week I did not stay up and watch that game live. I would have been so fuming if I watched that game live. But yeah, that's not a good start to the week, is it, when you're thinking big points and then the first game is 18 combined points against those two teams. But yeah.
In fantasy playoff week as well.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp got 0 as well, which didn't affect me, but it's probably affected loads of people, I would imagine. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if it is the biggest, but it's the biggest in the last 4 weeks. Just because I saw a stat that it's the biggest in the last 4 weeks. But I don't know if there was a random week 1 or week 2 one. But yeah, 52.5 was the biggest before that. And then, yeah, we've got 53.5 for this game. I think it's probably the right total. Spoiler alert, none of us have picked the total as our best bet, but I do think it's a game that could go over. Don't think it'll be a Rams-Bills 90-pointer, whatever that finished up, but I do think there'll be some points in this game. Let's go on to best bets then. We'll start with Tim first. He's gone for the James Cook anytime touchdown. Do you know what the line is for that at all? It's not on the sheet.
I haven't put that on, have I? No, I normally do. I'd imagine it's odds on. I know we try and avoid odds on shots, but Tim kind of bucked that trend a little bit today with his picks. No, I'll just find it now. I think theoretically it should be. I know Josh Allen was 65. I was quite surprised to see him at plus money because I thought he would be the shortest of all of them. James Cook 2021, so yeah, but just about odds on, but pretty much even money. So we're happy with that.
Yeah, and again, their offense is good in the red zone. He obviously catches passes out the backfield and runs the football, so I think it does make sense. I actually would prefer Josh Allen. I kind of avoided Josh Allen on my touchdown of the week scorer because I felt like he would be odds on, and I didn't want to pick another odds on, so I went for a different odd that we'll talk about later. But now I'm regretting it because I think Josh Allen at 6-5 is a really good bet. But yeah, James Cook's also really likely. I know the Lions defense. Their strength is actually defending the run in the red zone with how many penalties they give in the pass game. But like you said, they're getting injured players back across the board. So maybe the Bills will be forced to run on them a little bit more. The Bills are quite a big running team anyway. So yeah, I think it's a good shout for James Cook. Him and Josh Allen seem to score most weeks. It's just, will it be a week where Josh Allen snipes 3 in a row or something? That's what you don't want if you're betting on James Cook. What's your best bet?
Yeah, I didn't want to go on the main line because I know that obviously I've seen yours for the week. So yeah, I was looking around. You can't get many bets on prop on Bills players at the moment. I assume because they're unsure of which wide receivers are going to be playing, so I went away from that. But I am playing against as we said, the Lions are getting defensive players back, but I do think the Bills are going to score every quarter. I think with a 54.5 total, it's actually ticked up from 53.5 now. I do think that there's a good chance that both teams score in every quarter. So you can get 33-20, so basically 6-4 on the Bills scoring in every quarter. And after we saw them last week against the Rams, we obviously saw that they can score or keep up scoring with anyone. So yeah, I thought the odds were quite good on it, to be honest. So I went with that one.
Yeah, I really like that one. I think the only way you probably lose that is if the Lions have a quarter where they just hold the ball for ages. I think that's probably the only risk for me there, because I do think the Bills' offense is so good that they'll be able to score enough points in that quarter. Because again, you don't need touchdowns, right? It's just 1 40-yard field goal is enough for you in one of the quarters to win that bet. So yeah, I like that. I'm surprised it was those odds. I thought it'd be worse odds than that. I don't know if they were what you were expecting or if you were trying to find better value, but that's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I was surprised to see them that high, and I did the Lions are 29-20, so just a little bit shorter. But again, I think that's quite generous odds for both of them, to be honest. But yeah, as you say, I think they should be able to move it 20-30 yards at least, and it's inside. You're going to get long field goal attempts if they do have any. I did hear on a podcast this week suggesting going for under on number of punts, but we haven't got a line on that at the moment. I think they were suggesting under 6.5 if you can find it, or under 5.5. And again, we know the Lions are aggressive. They're going to go for it on 4th down, and the Bills should be able to convert as well. So I did quite like that, but yeah, I couldn't find that anywhere.
Yeah, that one's good, except I worry that Sean McDermott's not very aggressive on 4th down, so you'd need the Bills' offense to be super hot to just convert 3rd downs, whereas, like you said, the Lions are going to go for it on 4th down. But I think your bet kind of covers that, because if the Bills are super hot on 3rd down, they're probably going to score every quarter. So I think they link quite well, to be honest, with what you're predicting. So I think that's a good shout. I've gone for a pro Bills bet as well. There might be an emotional hedge here. You never know. If the Bills lose this game, the 1 seed is my team's. Who knows? But the Bills plus 2.5 is what I've gone for. It's just, I've said it. Anyone who's listened to me on this pod for I don't know how many years I've done this now, 2 or 3 years, is it? Something like that. I quarterback bets what I go for when it's short spreads. Very rare, very often in the NFL, unless there's a big turnover issue, the best quarterback on the day wins. Especially in these tight games, you obviously get different scenarios where someone gets blown out. But in terms of tight games, which I think this will be, the best quarterback wins a lot. And Josh Allen's probably going to win the MVP. Jared Goff's playing well, but he's no Josh Allen. I think my only worry for the Bills is injuries on offense. Who's going to play? Who's going to come back? And how the offensive line is going to look against the Lions' defensive line. But with Josh Allen there, I do think they probably win the game. But if they don't, then there's a chance they could still lose by 1 or 2 and, cover that spread of plus 2.5. So, yeah, I just think the Lions are probably overall a better team. But the Bills, if Josh Allen plays like he did last week, Jared Goff, I don't think will be able to keep up like Matt Stafford did. So, I've gone for Bills plus 2.5.
Yeah, it seems like it's there. It seems like it's Josh Allen's season, regular season at least. I'm still not convinced they'll be able to do it in the playoffs because it does tend to fall apart for them. But yeah, this regular season definitely seems like it's the Bills for the taking. So it was the way I would have gone. That's why I kind of left the spread because I knew that you'd gone for it. I'm kind of hesitant to lean over, but obviously we are hoping it's a fun game. So yeah, I think I've covered the over with the bet that I've gone for, and you've covered the spread. So yeah, I think we're on the same side of things.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would lean over, but again, in real life, I probably wouldn't bet it when it's that big. I would just try and sit back and hopefully enjoy watching the game. But yeah, cool. That's a big game in terms of best bets for that one. Then James Cook anytime is Tim's selection. Bills plus 2.5 is my selection. Adam's gone for Bills to score in every quarter as well. So actually 3 pro Bills bets there really. So we do need the Bills to play well, and if they don't, I'll be happy for other reasons. So there we go. Feels like I'm a winner when it comes to that game. Let's move on to the other spreads then. Again, for anyone watching on YouTube, you've got the spreads go along the ticker at the bottom there. And I do want to start with Tim's again because this is a rarity. We've got a kind of pro Dallas Cowboys selection from a Dallas Cowboys fan in Tim. We did laugh before we pressed record that it's actually not that fully pro with his reasoning, but he has picked the Dallas Cowboys plus 2.5 against the Panthers. I was surprised, to be honest, when I saw the line. I think I heard a podcast earlier say that it's 2 years since the Panthers have been favored in any game, and they're favored at home to the Dallas Cowboys. Tim has picked the Cowboys because A, they do have a better roster, he said, which I would agree with. And B, he said the Dallas Cowboys should be losing every game, and because they're basically incompetent, they will win this game when they shouldn't. So yeah, that's why it's not a fully pro Dallas Cowboys bet. But yeah, I'm actually on his side with this one. I picked this in a pick and pull. I think they do win this game. How do you feel about the Cowboys-Panthers?
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? Obviously, the Panthers have been playing better, and they have been looking a lot better in recent weeks, whereas the Cowboys have been, well, not falling apart, but they've not looked great. Obviously, the ineptitude to lose the game against the Bengals last week with the blocked punt, which turned into a first down for the Bengals, was pretty impressive and something that I can't imagine many other teams that happening to. It did seem like a uniquely Cowboy kind of thing.
Yeah,
I think it happened a couple of years ago to them as well. So yeah, just a very strange occurrence. And yeah, as Tim said, they should be losing now to get a better draft pick because they're officially out of things. So yeah, they probably will win. And yeah, I'm definitely on the Cowboys side of this one. I would not be picking the Panthers at all, despite the fact they have looked better in recent weeks.
Yeah, Bryce Young's looked good, to be fair, but the defense has still been very, very up and down. It just hasn't been catastrophic losses because the quarterback's been pretty steady and he's not throwing picks like he did at the start of the season. But yeah, I'd expect Dallas to come out and win this game. Cool. Let's go on to your spread of the week. Who have you picked?
Yeah, another team who are just about hanging on in the playoff hunt in the AFC. I've gone for the Dolphins +3 at the Texans. Again, I'm not sure if they're not the better side in this. So getting 3 points, admittedly on the road against the Texans team who are coming off a bye week, it does seem pretty generous. I do think the Dolphins are the better team, and yeah, getting the points, I think Tua and Tyreek Hill have been stepping it up again. Jalen Waddle's been doing well. Obviously, Jonnu Smith's been doing well. Aitan's been running well. Whereas the Texans, they seem like they're kind of faltering. Well, to be fair, they've been faltering all season, but they're in such a crappy division that they've been making it like they're going to win the South either way because the Jags have fallen off. The Titans have had a weird season, and the Colts are the Colts. I mean, the Colts officially are still alive as well, but I don't know how that's really happened. But yeah, the Texans, their defense hasn't been great. I think CJ Stroud struggled this year, obviously with players in and out of the lineup. I do think it should be quite a high-scoring game, but yeah, give me the points with the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I agree. I do think this will be a high-scoring game as well. I'm hoping it'll be a fun one because this is one of the early slate games, and the early slate is pretty rough this week. So we
Mm.
could do with this game being quite good if you're a red zone fan or someone that sits down and watches the best games on Sky every week. I think we do need this game to be quite good. I picked against this, so against your pick in my podcast today. I did go with the Texans. We were going with a 2.5 line, so you get you're under the hook there. Sky Bet have got 2.5, but I could see why you'd go Dolphins +3. I think I said on that it would be a pretty close game. I think Dolphins are missing both their tackles, which I think could be a bit of an issue for them. But if they just run it a lot with Achan and Mostert and all those guys, then yeah, the Texans have not shown the ability to consistently stop the run. Even though their pass defense has been good, they've not really shown that. So yeah, I could see why you picked them. I just think for me, it kind of does go back to that annoying quarterback thing that I always bang on about. That I think CJ Stroud should be able to cover the spread against Tua. But yeah, we'll see. I think it'll be definitely high scoring game. I would probably go over on the total. I just can't really get the Dolphins this year. It feels like I pick them to win a week and they'll lose to or cover, and they'll only just do it against the Jets. And then there'll be another game where I'm like, nah, they're not going to cover, and then they'll hammer someone like they did with the Patriots by 20 odd points. So they're a team that I just can't get this year. So yeah, I think you could cover it, but I'd just be a bit worried about Stroud out playing Tua.
You've just made me worry because obviously I've said many times on this podcast that the Dolphins can't beat a good team, and I think the Texans are a good team. So I think I've kind of gone against myself here. So you have made me worry about my pick on this one. But I was just looking at some props on it. Achan over 4.5 receptions is a very good line. He is basically that's the way they use their running game is Achan catching the ball. So I do like that one.
Yeah, I like that one too. But if you got a good chance to cover it though, because this is desperation for the Dolphins, and the Texans have in a very weird position with the division. But yeah, we'll see. I think for your bet to win, you need the Dolphins to start well, because I think if the Texans get up to an early lead, Tua's going to struggle. But yeah, we'll see. I think Mike McDaniel might be coaching for his job here a little bit for the last few weeks of the season. Might just be my opinion, but yeah, I think he's at risk. So yeah, we'll see. And then yeah, this is famous last words, but there's multiple spreads that I liked this week, which is maybe I don't know if that's good or bad. And I've kind of gone with the smallest spread, where I'm not having to cover a bigger number. And unfortunately, that's led me to my own team, which is a risk. And I didn't buy the hook down because I just thought, why not? Let's go for the better odds. And I've gone for Chiefs -3.5 against the Browns. Ironically, it doesn't matter that I'm going to say this now because they didn't actually cover a 3.5 spread the other day. But historically, they're terrible at covering spreads more than 4 and very good at covering spreads under 4. So yeah, I think their luck of I think it's no covers in 7 weeks now is going to end against the Cleveland Browns. Partly that is because of who they're playing. I know everyone loves the Jameis experience, but I think the defense he's playing against loves the experience just as much as the fans love the experience. So I think Spags will be probably blitzing Jameis quite a lot in this game, and I would be surprised if Jerry Jeudy has a 200-yard game like he seems to be popping off recently against Trent McDuffie. So I think it's more that side of things. I just think, yeah, he's going to try and go for big plays, but they're normally the offenses the Chiefs do really well against. It's kind of the dink and dunk ones that just slowly go down the field, like the Chargers, that can cause the Chiefs an issue, whereas those big play ones, the Chiefs normally give up a couple of long touchdowns, but they'll probably get a couple of turnovers against the Browns. And you never know, speaking of Brown, you might get Hollywood Brown playing for the Chiefs this week, which would be nice to see a wide receiver that's quick and good, not just quick or good. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, -3.5. If it gets to 3, I think it's a really great bet. If it goes out to 4, 4.5, I could see why people would stay away. But yeah, I know you never bet on the Chiefs to cover, so you won't be on my side with this one.
No, I can't bet on the Chiefs to cover in any game at all. I do agree with you with the Jameis Winston experience. Obviously, probably 2 touchdowns and probably 2 or 3 interceptions. But as much as I don't rate him really as a winning quarterback, he is fun, and he is a few sandwiches short of a picnic in the fucking head, isn't he? He's kind of all over the place with the stuff he comes out with, but he does make football fun. And I know Browns fans, after the depressing start that they had to the season with Watson, at least it's a little bit more exciting.
Well, this line would definitely be higher if Watson was playing. No way would it be 3.5. So that says enough that how a better player he is, and again, 100% more fun to watch than Deshaun Watson for them. But yeah, cool. Were there any other spreads you like? So there's a couple that I liked, but were there any other options that you were looking at?
I'll let you pick a couple of yours. I did have a look at a few, and there was a few I was considering, but I'll see what you say first.
Cool. Well, I wasn't considering this one, but for the hell of it, I was going to go for the Ravens minus 16.5 just for fun on the podcast. We've never ever picked a big one, but yeah, that wasn't one of mine. Unfortunately, this is a jinx for you, but your team minus 5.5 against the Titans, I think is a good bet. I think the offense is so good that even though the defense has struggled all year, Will Levis is still Will Levis. He'll throw 2 picks or 2 terrible plays that give the Bengals a chance, and I think the offense will score a lot. I know the Titans are good on defense, but I think the Bengals will score a lot of points. So I like them, minus 5.5. We've already spoken about the Bills. I didn't want to pick the same bet there, but I like that one obviously a lot. And then Chargers minus 2.5. I really liked against the Bucks with Jim Harbaugh. He covers short spreads very often. I really liked how the Bucks have played all year, but the Chargers are that exact type of physical team that will control the clock. They won't get in a shootout with the Bucks like everyone else does. They'll try and control it and try and win that way. So I like that. And then again, Packers minus 2.5 against the Seahawks and Eagles minus 5.5 against the Steelers. 2 of the best games of the week. I know I've picked 2 favorites, but I just think they are better teams than their opponents. And again, for the Packers, quarterback matters for me, and I think Jordan Love's playing really well at the moment. So yeah, there was a few. I was almost worried about how many I was like, I like that, because that means my pick'em pool I'm in, I'm going to go like 3 correct probably with how I feel.
Yeah, I'm actually on the other side of pretty much all of them as well. I think you got Mike Tomlin as an underdog. I can't bet against the Steelers getting points. I think the Bucks side of things is better in the Chargers game. I'd be going Bucks +3 if I was picking that one. I can't ever rate the Chargers. I don't know why. I just don't think they always seem to mess it up somehow. And as you said, the Bucks have been playing well. Like they're doing well. The Seahawks Packers is a bit more difficult. I think logically I should be going Seahawks. They seem to have stepped up in recent weeks. Although, in fairness, 2 of those wins were against the Cardinals, and I obviously don't rate the Cardinals too highly, so I can kind of write them off a bit. Maybe the Packers are the better team, but it's in Seattle, and yeah, I don't think I'd be taking the Packers on the road getting the points. And yeah, the other one, I did consider Giants +16.5 for my spread for this week, but
yeah,
I just
I'm not
can't
going to
do
say
it.
that's a recommendation, the 16.5. I just was desperate to do it for the fun of the podcast. When you write the graphic and you've gone, why has he picked the biggest spread in the last 2 seasons? But yeah, logically you pick the Giants, right? Logically, but
but you can't even do that because it's Tommy DeVito, and obviously they had 0 points at halftime with him the other week, and the Ravens are probably one of the top 5 teams in the league, and the Giants are either worst or second worst. So I couldn't even get to +16.5 for them, and I even considered doing a teaser with them and taking them up to 24. But again, I don't think I can even do that. It's one of those that's how bad the Giants are this year.
That is how bad. What about the Commanders Saints game? Because that was another one. Jake Hayner's going to start quarterback for the Saints. Commanders again need to. I know that they can't win the division now, right? But the Rams have got the same number of wins as them, I think, if they don't win this week. So, I thought against Jake Hayner, that's incredible 7.5. But you're going to tell me you like the Saints +7.5.
I wouldn't be going near that one. It was, I think it was 7 earlier in the week, so I know that's moved the wrong way on that one. Well, the right way. It's moved towards the Commanders, but it's moved the wrong way for betting purposes. I didn't want to take them. Now it's gone over to 7.
Mm-hmm. So, were there any others you liked, or you just liked your one? Dolphins.
We've covered pretty much everything there. Like the Broncos -4 hosting the Colts. I think I'd be on that side of that. And then annoyingly, we've got a bloody Monday doubleheader this week as well. I don't actually fancy either of the things on that one, but to be fair, I'd be leaning the Bears +7. Obviously, they played a few weeks back and it ended up as a 3-point game, an overtime game. So, yeah, the Bears getting the points, even though they have kind of fallen back again. I think we've talked about pretty much every game apart from the Jets and Jags, and that one doesn't deserve anyone saying anything. So we'll just scoot past that.
I did chuckle then because I would have said Vikings -6.5, which Sky's got and Virgin's got. So yeah, we are fully on the other side of things. So let's hope we both get our 1 picks right. Well, we're not on the other side, and we won't mention the other ones next week. Cool. Let's move on to totals then, which I'm not going to lie, I did find much harder. And the total I actually liked the most involved my own team again, which I did not want to pick my own team but twice, because that would have been A, set me up for failure, and B, would have just looked hilarious and most biased person ever. But I think you may have picked that game.
Yeah. I'm assuming I'm on the other side of the way you would have gone on this one.
No,
I've gone with over 43.
I would have gone over. No, I would have gone over.
Yeah, okay. That's all right. At least we agree on that one. Yeah, as we were saying with the handicap on the Chiefs game, Jameis has got the ability to throw 2 or 3 touchdowns to his own team and 2 or 3 to the other team. So I think you got points on either side from the Browns, and we know that the Chiefs are going to score as many as it needs to win by 3 points. So I think if the Browns can throw for 20, the Chiefs are going to do 23 at least. So yeah, I thought it was quite a low total for what I think will be a fairly high scoring game. I think it was 45 earlier in the week as well. I had the lines written down. So yeah, so it's gone. Obviously, people are betting the unders. I'll be honest, I've not checked weather. That could be a factor, I guess. But yeah, I like the over 43. I think they're going to be quite a few points in that game.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie and say I studied the weather, but listening to all the press conferences and the podcast for the Chiefs that I do every week, that's not been mentioned once. So I doubt there would be a big weather issue because I probably would have heard about it. But yeah, you're right. I think personally, I think the Chiefs score like 24 to 26 ish, and I think you're just relying on Jameis to get as close to 20 as you can. And yeah, either way, I would probably see him scoring one big touchdown. They'll have one big drive where there's a lot of running because that's what the Browns do. And then you only need a field goal then to get to 17. So I think the over is a really, really good bet. Just didn't want to put my team in 2 different selections because then if they lose and they lose me 2 picks, then I'm just not going to turn up next week. So we don't need that. In terms of Tim's selection, he's gone for the game we said no one deserves to be spoken about.
Yeah, I did think about
that. Jets and Jags. He's gone for under 40.5. I do hate taking unders, but I think this is the right side. The Jets play a very slow, methodical style of offense with Rodgers. Not being great. They haven't really got anything to play for. He's a few days away from his Enigma documentary coming out, which we'll have to get Adam to do a 60-minute review of, or 1,000 words maybe on the site. We'll see. But yeah, with Mac Jones playing, he scored his first touchdown on his first drive, and I thought the Jags could win a couple of games here as underdogs for the rest of the season. Since then, he has been absolutely horrific. And I just can't see the Jags scoring more than 13 points. And I think under 40.5 is the right side for Tim. What do you think?
Yeah. This is why we didn't want to talk about it, because it's going to be a rough, horrible game to watch. Obviously, the Jets probably without Breece Hall again this week. Admittedly, Isaiah Davis looked all right. But yeah, I can't ever promote the Jets. And then the Jaguars have been a mess. I guess really I'd have to be leaning to Jets minus 3.5 just because of how bad Mac Jones looks. But yeah, I do think the under's the right side of this, even though it is the lowest total of the week, I think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Very rarely would we go under on the lowest total, but Mac Jones and Aaron Rodgers have driven us to that. So there we go. That's that one.
Yeah.
And then for me, like I said, I really struggled with totals this week. There wasn't many that I loved. I even looked at a Panthers Cowboys over 42.5 and then shook myself away from that. I was not. I decided against that, and I've gone for the Cardinals and Patriots over 46.5, which I think some would think is a risky pick, but these are 2 of the bottom 4 defenses in the league. In terms of plays as well, from a fantasy football perspective, there's a lot of plays that happen in Cardinals and Patriots games because they can't get a stop on either side. So there's a lot of plays and drives that happen for the teams they play against. So I'm kind of hoping those 2 things combined lead to quite a fast-paced back-and-forth game. I still like Kyler Murray, even though some people don't. And I think the offense has been up and down the last 3 games where they've obviously lost 3 in a row. But they've still got the pieces there to play well and to cause the Patriots problems, who haven't been very good. And then Drake May, I think, looks really good. So the Cardinals' defense has not been great. And I think Drake May can probably score some points and drive on them. So, yeah, I would have preferred a 43 or 44.5 in this game, but I still think over 46.5. My number had it at 48 when I did it, and there wasn't many totals I like. So, yeah, I've gone for over in that game, but I'm kind of betting on bad defense and a couple of wow plays from the quarterbacks, I think.
Yeah, it's actually on 46 now as well, so it's even better. You get that. You get at least the push now as well. Yeah, we've said, obviously, you said about Kyler Murray looking rubbish last few games, but again, 2 of them were against the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks obviously have his number, They had a couple of picks in each against him. Obviously, a pick six in the first one. So maybe it's just a team that they just can't play against, which you get across the league. And obviously, familiar opponents do know them well. So going against a team from the other conference is something fresher. And I don't think the Patriots played the Ravens this year, so they've probably not had a QB like this to face.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would, yeah, I'd hope for the over in that one. The Cardinals are a team I can't ever judge, so I try and stay away from picking anything with them. But they do have the ability to put up points, and as you said, both defenses are pretty terrible.
Yeah, I'm similar to you now with the Cardinals from a spread perspective. I just do think there'll be points in this game, but yeah, we'll see. There wasn't many others I like. The only other one I really liked, apart from the Chiefs, again, I wasn't going to pick the same team again, was the Steelers game. Steelers Eagles 42.5. Now, historically, and with how good the Eagles defense randomly is this year, you should say that game would be under. But I was looking at it going, I think that game could go over. With Saquon playing so well, the whole Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown thing, I think they'll have to get him involved and throw the ball down the field a bit more. And then Russ seems to be, since that Bengals game where he scored 40-odd points or whatever it was, he seems to be scoring quite a lot of points and, having some big plays on offense that aren't just bombs down the field. There's some big rush plays. He's kind of used the middle of the field a little bit more. So I was thinking over in that, but I think when I looked, it was like number 1 on DVOA defense versus number 3. And it was just like, come on, can I go over when you've got the two of the best defenses? So I just stayed away. But that was the only other one I was considering. The rest, I just looked at it thinking, week 15 on some of these teams, there's normally a bad team in each game. I couldn't find many that I liked, to be honest. Don't know if you had any others you liked.
Yeah, obviously you got George Pickens probably missing out for the Steelers as well, so that hurts their big playability. So I'd be leaning the under on that one personally, but again, that's why neither of us have picked it. Yeah, other than that, I guess under in the Falcons Raiders, which is the late Monday one, under 44.5, just because the Kirk Cousins has fallen apart and the Raiders are not very good. So I'd be going under on that one. I do quite like over in the Cowboys Panthers game, as you kind of hinted at, over 43 on that one. Both the Panthers have been playing better recently, and we do think personally that the Cowboys will be beating them. So I think you can probably see both teams getting 20 on that one. And excuse me, when you've got a 43 total, that's you only need a little bit more than that. And then that was about it on totals. Again, Bengals Titans is a tough one because obviously the Bengals offense has been a solid over bet this year, over 46.5 for that one. Again, I would have to lean over, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 20-13 kind of game. It could be a weirdly crappy one, that one.
Yeah, both sides of the Bengals make you lean over, don't they? But Will Levis is just Will Levis, so you don't know what you're going to get. You could get 3 bomb touchdowns, or you could get 3 fumbles that lead to punts or something. So it's like, hard one to call for sure. Cool. Let's move on to touchdowns then. There's a couple that I've liked. That one I mentioned earlier. So I do like Josh Allen. Now you said it was 6-5. Scored 3 last week. Often scores. Again, I think that game will be a really high scoring game. He tends to play better and score more and run more in the big games than he does against the bad teams. And I think he did it against the Rams. He did it against the Chiefs. So I think he'll probably do it in that game. But the one I've gone with is Nico Collins, 13-10. That's the odds you found for me. Best odds for the Texans in that Dolphins game. We mentioned it earlier. I think it'll be high scoring. And personally, think with the way Tank Dell's not played as well this year, that if it's not Joe Mixon scoring, I think it'll probably be Nico Collins scoring in that game for them. CJ Stroud goes to him a lot. Dolphins defense is very good at times, but then they give up big plays. So I think that suits Nico Collins' style of play. So they were the ones that I liked in that. And then Chiefs Browns, I thought Noah Gray 4-1 was quite a fun bet as well. Gets a lot of targets now in the end zone, plays a lot of snaps. He was 3-1 last week. You can get him 4-1 best odds, and he plays a lot of snaps. Plays 78% of snaps, so he's on the field a lot when they have the ball. So they're the ones I like, with Nico Collins being my my best bet. What was your best bet, and any others you liked?
Well, you've just reminded me that David Njoku's out for the Browns, and he's been kind of one of their main targets. Well, probably out for the Browns. He's one of their main targets. It would have been a nice Njoku/Gray double, I probably would have gone on that game. But yeah, I haven't gone with that one, obviously. I have gone odds on, unfortunately. I've gone for 20 to 21 on Rico Dowdle. Again, we think the Cowboys are looking good in that game. I do think it's going to be quite a high scoring game, and he's been getting all the touches recently. I think Zeke had 6 snaps or something against the Bengals. Rico's been running well. He obviously he ran over the Bengals because everyone does. But I don't think the Panthers' defense is much better than any other in the league. So yeah, give him all the touches. A poor quarterback because Cooper Rush isn't good. And I think Rico probably gets 20 plus touches and just relies on them getting down the field, and he should find the end zone again.
Yeah, and probably win someone a fantasy football playoff game, I would imagine. People thought it might be Isaac Guerrero last night, but yeah, maybe it could be Rico Dowdle potentially as a waiver wire player that could win someone a championship this year. We'll see. I think he's had like crazy amount of carries as well the last 3 weeks. So he's the number one back by far now. So yeah, I think that's a good shout. Were there any others you liked apart from him?
No, but I will back up that Josh Allen. He scored a rushing touchdown in 4 games in a row now, so he's definitely stepping up. Annoyingly, ESPN have altered the way they display things. It's now top to bottom instead of bottom to top. It's really irritating when you're trying to look for stuff. He had 131 yards, Rico, and he's had, like you say, 60 touches over the last 3 weeks, so he's definitely going to get the ball. I did quite like Tyreek Hill again. He was 13 to 10, the same as Nico Collins-Price, obviously in the same game. So again, probably a nice little double on that one. He's scored for a few weeks in a row now. And yeah, other than that, I didn't really pick anything else, to be honest. I'll have a proper look on Sunday and pick out some bets there. Obviously, for the Buccaneers, it had been Bucky Irvin, but it looks like he's still nursing that injury. So Rashad White, I guess. But I'd imagine he'll be around evens as well.
Yeah, Jordan Addison scored a lot of touchdowns for the Vikings on Monday night. That could be quite an interesting one against the Bears because Justin Jefferson, Aaron Jones odds are also short to score a touchdown. Sometimes you can get Jordan Addison at a better price, which is another one that I've had a look at. And again, mentioning Njoku, the odds aren't there at the moment because of that injury. But if he gets confirmed out, there's always a chance to have a punt on the second or third tight end. Do you know what I mean? Like guess which one for the Browns because the Chiefs are like bottom 5 in the league against tight ends. So I think that if Njoku's out, there might be Harrison Bryant.
Jordan Akins, and then there's some fellow with a weird name, Blake Whiteheart. It might be him, 11 to 1.
There we go. Maybe that's the still we go for Blake Whiteheart, whoever that is.
Yeah,
like you could have made that name up.
3. Yeah,
you could have made that name up, and I would have known. That could be like anyone. We'll see.
Yeah, they activated him from the practice squad last week, and I think he had 2 or 3 catches. I think he actually looked mildly average, which is good for a random guy like that.
That's a nice compliment.
18 to 1 is the best you can get on Blake Whiteheart.
The mildly average Blake Whiteheart. So there we go. I'm looking forward to seeing him score against my team on Sunday.
That's confidence for you.
Exactly. And then last best bet is obviously Tim's touchdown scorer. He's gone for James Conner, who is 4 to 6. So again, another Tim didn't like the 1 of 3 last week, so he's gone for more obvious picks in that Cardinals game. Like I said, Cardinals Pats, Patriots worst defense in the league actually this year by most metrics. James Conner gets a lot of touches. I think that game will be quite high scoring. So I like James Conner at 4 to 6. I probably wouldn't bet at 4 to 6 unless it's an accumulator, but I do think that's got a really, really good chance of winning.
Not much more to say on that one. We think there's going to be points in that game. They're playing a terrible defense, and I think it's. I don't remember him scoring for the last few weeks, so he does need to bounce back, which I'm sure he will do. When they get our run game going, he gets all the touches. So. I wouldn't be too surprised. Yeah, it's been 3 weeks without a rushing touchdown. He did score a receiving touchdown last week, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if he found the end zone again.
Yeah, I can't remember now which week it was, but one of the last 2 weeks they abandoned the run really early, and the head coach came out and said, we're such a good running football team, we need to not do that again. So, I think you'll see a lot of James Conner touches on Sunday. Cool. That's it for our selection. So let's run through our best bets. For the spread, Tim's gone for the Cowboys plus 2.5 against the Panthers. I've gone for the Chiefs minus 3.5. We've both gone for our own teams. Minus 3.5 against the Browns. Unfortunately, Adam has not gone for the Bengals to keep us as a hat trick. He's gone for the Dolphins plus 3 against the Texans. In terms of the total, Tim's gone for the Jets and Jags game over 40.5. I've gone for the Cardinals and the Patriots game over 46.5. And then Adam's gone for the Chiefs-Browns game over 43. And then to finish off, touchdown scorers, Tim's gone for James Conner, 4-6. I've gone for Nico Collins, 13-10. And Adam's gone for Rico O'Dowd, 20-21. So, yeah, Nico and Rico, nice double for me and me on that one.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, that's it for week 15 as we hurtle towards the playoffs. Please remember to go follow us on Twitter/X at Full 10 Yards. Please go follow Adam as well at Touchdown Tips. Easy for me to say. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well, please. And remember to gamble responsibly. We'll definitely be back next weekend. Next week. We don't know what day as of right now with Christmas coming, but yeah, we should be back. So yeah, we hope you all win your bets. Have a nice weekend, and we will speak to you soon.